don't just pay attention to the patient, pay attention to the family member.
Yeah.
Because their whole life is turned upside down now because they got to take care of one person.
Exactly.
You know how much stress that is? Again, coming from someone who had to take care of his mom and dad before they passed. So again, you having that experience is marketable. Yeah. Like, I'm not somebody who can say, I understand what you're going through. No, I really do understand what you're going through.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's not just a slogan. Like, no, I feel you. Like, no. And so when social workers see that passion and they see that in your employees, don't worry about marketing. I haven't marketed in 4 years. Now everything is just referral based. Like, I literally got paid $7,000 to take a patient to New York because the family member only trusted me, my company, with getting his sister from Brooklyn, New York. I was in Brooklyn, New York, Mount Zion Hospital, to South Carolina. I'll pay you $7,000. I was like, when do I need to do this? He's like, tomorrow. I'm like, I'll make it happen. As soon as we got to South Carolina, the very next day, the sister passed away. Oh. But that's what they wanted. So now I'm getting phone calls from the father like, you will always be a part of my life. Like, they'll tell you stuff that like give you the chills and say, okay, this is why I got into the business. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that just goes. Like, they'll go back and refer you, because people get sick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I want to be that person they call.
100%. All right, listen, every single week, every episode, you hear me talking about themorningmeetup.com. It's the community. Let me show you what's happening here. Every single morning, Monday through Friday, there's 400 plus people on a Zoom call, right? We're learning, we're talking, we're growing together, and this is you. There's all these people here. It's all these people in the morning meetup. Hundreds of people reading books, growing. We get together quarterly. It's amazing. And for some reason, you just keep looking at, just go to themorningmeetup.com and get in the circle. And then you'll be like way happier. Just themorningmeetup.com. Let's get back to the episode. Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. We find dope people that did dope stuff. Today is no different. And actually, you're involved in a business that I want to get started in. My problem is I be wanting to do all businesses. I am an entrepreneur to the heart. But this seems, because I'm already like with Gooch, we're doing, I'm still waiting for my paperwork to process for the home healthcare business, which you have one of those too, right?
Yes.
But your main business is the emergency ambulance companies.
Yes.
Yes. So I definitely want to know how you got into that.
Okay.
How many ambulances do you have?
6.
You have 6 ambulance trucks.
Yes.
And are we able to say who got some too? Did he say it was like private?
Yeah, he was like, he didn't want to come out with it yet. You talking about new guy?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so my boy, he had an ambulance and then he got another, you getting another one or something like that?
He's on 4 now, and it's only been 2 months.
One of our past podcast guests and one of my brothers. He has 4 now?
He has 4. So he's doing his thing. And he came up under my mentorship and told me it was something he wanted to get into. Gooch introduced me to him.
Yeah.
And he's been doing good, man. And his brother's running it. I don't think he's even there. So.
See, that's what I want to be like. All right, so listen, introduce yourself, my brother, because I got a bunch of questions.
All right, cool. My name is Hanz Fequire. I'm the owner of First Responders EMS and Constant Healthcare. And I own a restaurant in Lenox Mall called And Cheese.
Do you really?
Yes, sir.
Hold on, what? Oh,
yeah.
You own a restaurant in Lenox Mall?
On the 3rd floor next to Bloomingdale's.
What's it called?
And Cheese. We sell gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches.
Really?
Yes,
you
sir.
Ever been there?
Don't worry, we got a vegan grilled cheese as well. It's called the Armwood. All of our sandwiches are named after districts in Atlanta. So we got a sandwich called the Buckhead, the Little 5 Points. It's been booming.
It's a gourmet grilled cheese sandwich in Lenox Mall?
Yeah, we talking about the ambulance.
What the heck? We had a whole conversation. You told me about ambulance trucks. You didn't tell me about the grilled cheeses.
Well, the thing is, the ambulance company opened the door for everything else. Kind of like you, right? I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. So I've never looked back into working for someone else.
For sure.
So starting an ambulance company, I really worked for other people. And I was a mortgage broker before that, and I did taxes before that. I did the fire department. I was a firefighter for 9 years. But with the fire department, of course, your paycheck is limited. Yeah. Your vacations are limited.
Sure.
Everything's limited.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do this no more. I was having a baby and I was getting married, and I was like, I told my wife I'm out. said, I'm gonna roll the dice, I'm gonna roll it on myself. And I was already exploited by other ambulance companies helping them grow. And so I was like, I could do this myself. And then started with one truck.
You were working with the ambulance companies?
Yeah, so.
And you were helping them grow?
Yeah, so when I was in the fire department, I did taxis since 2008. But during tax season, I would make so much money that I really was like, man, I'm making more than I am all year during the fire department.
For sure.
So one year after tax season, around 2015, I just paid all my bills in advance. Like, mortgages paid for the everything paid for the year. I had nothing to do after tax season. So I saw a friend on Facebook. She had an ambulance shirt on. I was like, yo, where you work at? She was like, I work at this company, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say their name. But so I went there. They had one patient. Now, my background's in marketing. And I was like, listen, give me a partnership. I'll get you patients. In 3 months, I got them 20 patients.
Oh, wow.
So in the healthcare field.
I'm sorry, real quick. When you say you got them patients, what do you mean?
Patients that need transportation. So even though we're deemed emergency, 90% of the companies out here are non-emergency. So we do scheduled appointments. So if you got someone who wants to go to dialysis, wound care, hyperbaric chamber, just there's so many different facets that you can provide transportation for.
Gotcha. Let's say, for instance, Joe, not you, Joe.
Yeah, we're not
John needs to go to some sort of procedure every first Tuesday. Then that's a client, that's a patient, where every first Tuesday you come to the house at 10 o'clock, pick them up, and it's the same routine.
Yes.
Who pays for that?
It depends. Some people have private insurance, but the majority of payments come from Medicare Part B. So Medicare Part B in the state of Georgia takes care of all transportation, non-ambulatory. So if someone needs a stretcher, whether they just had an amputation, maybe they have dementia, something where they need to be strapped down, or they just need stretcher transportation, Medicare will pay for that.
Got you. Okay. All right. I got you. So, you're how did you help them go get patients?
Like I said, my background was I was a mortgage broker and a tax preparer. So, you got to solicit, right? You got to go out there and you get 1,000 no's before you get one yes.
Sure.
So I'm talking to social workers. I'm talking like, how does this whole thing work? And how do you do this? So I'm just really figuring it out as I go. But because of my background, it wasn't that hard. So if I come to you and say, listen, I heard your mother's sick, I could take her. And then all you do is provide good service. And then word of mouth spreads. It's an industry where a lot of people want to get in, but really the ones that really take a special interest into providing that service. And my dad was on dialysis. So that was an extra insight that I had. That was a step above everyone else. I have experience dealing with someone who was on dialysis. So I'm like, I know what they need. So that was my marketing. I was like, listen, you got a lot of people that solicit to you. I live this. So who better to take care of your patients? And that one thing took me, they had 20 patients in 3 months. So in an average of 3 months, they went from going to 5,000, generating 5,000 to $100,000 a month. It was over with.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. And then somebody else hired me to do the same thing, and I did it for them. And then when I got to the third company, I was like, wait a minute, I want a partnership, or I'm going to just start my own. Well, he didn't want to give me a partnership. So I was like, all right, I'll just start my own. I bought my first ambulance for like $5,000. It was a piece of crap. It was like axle breaking and everything. But I was like, I just need you to work until I get like 5 patients. After that, it was like, buy a new truck. And all my trucks have been like 2018, 2019 since. So
what was the process of getting do you need a license, yes?
Yes, you need a license with the Georgia Department of EMS. But you don't have to be a paramedic or anything. Like, you could start an ambulance company. All you gotta do is have people that are certified as EMTs.
Got you.
To get on the ambulance.
How long does it take to be certified as an EMT?
Right now, they got a process where you could be an EMR, which is like an EMT, but it'll allow you to get on an ambulance in like a week.
Really?
Yeah. But like to be a EMT, some places have programs where it's 3 months, 6 months. It's really up to you.
But okay, so let's just say Joe wants to get he can go get certified for a week. If I have a truck, Joe can go to the certification for a week and be an EMR. And what does the EMR stand for?
Like emergency medical responder.
Okay. So he can be EMR, but on that same truck, does Joe still have to be accompanied by an EMT?
Yes.
Okay, got you. So what do you need EMR for?
EMR is like a driver. So because there's such a shortage of EMTs, the state allowed this provision to get people on the truck. So his basic knowledge will be probably BLS, basic life support. So CPR, first aid, stuff like that. And then the EMT will have a little bit more education. They're in the back of the ambulance with the patient.
Gotcha.
So even though it's deemed non-emergency, they still want someone, there, God forbid something happens.
So let's say somebody else goes to get an EMT certification, which is, 3 months, 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good career.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be an ambulance company that needs them.
Or a hospital. Or
a hospital.
Doctor's office. Yeah, medical field is not going anywhere.
So if you go be an EMT, you can always go make some money.
Yeah, you should never be jobless. Never.
Got you. Okay, so business owner standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I get an ambulance. I guess you spent $5,000 on your first ambulance, but I don't know what you're gonna, kind of teach around that. But I need an EMR and an EMT on the truck,
mm-hmm.
and I can run a profitable business.
Yes.
How much can I make from one truck?
One truck. Okay, so it depends, right? How aggressive are you going to be? The average truck, you need 6 patients, right? So let's say most people, they gear towards dialysis because dialysis, that person's going 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So if you get a crew to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they're transporting 3 patients, but that's A trip, which is to the facility, and B trip, which is back home. So you got 3 patients on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and 3 patients on, let's say, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So 6 patients, average $5,000 per patient. You're making $30,000 a month. Your payroll should be no more than 7.
Hold on. One truck, one patient,
mm-hmm.
going 3 days a week is about $5,000 a month.
And I'm not even including the miles. So like one of my patients, I make close to $7,800. He lives in Lithonia. He goes to a dialysis all the way by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes there. So Medicare pays you per miles as well. So with him, I'm making $7,800. So when he pays for 3 of my trucks, the note by himself.
Wow.
So yeah, and it just depends. Like I know people that have ambulance companies, they're running 7, 8 patients. But again, how much do you want to exhaust your employees? And you know what I mean? Like not being greedy, 3 patients on a 6 trips a day, you're good.
Goodness gracious. Yo, you can have a group of people that are working on this truck. They only work 3 days a week for a couple of, you drive someone somewhere
mm-hmm.
and you drive them back. So let's say, for instance, that patient is $5,000 and we have 3 of them. That's $15,000. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's just say, one person has to go 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying if you do like a morning, afternoon, late afternoon or something like that, and that person only works 3 days a week,
mm-hmm.
it's $15,000 total.
Mm-hmm.
How much would I pay
the average employee?
The average employee, yes.
Between $15 and $18 an hour.
Say it again?
Between $15 and $18 an hour. Because think about it, right? Those employees are working 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Because not only do they have to drop the patient off, patient goes to dialysis for almost 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So they're dropping one off, dropping another, and then 3 to 4 hours later, they're picking one up, dropping them home, then going back and dropping. So they're getting almost their 40 hours. Not enough to get overtime or anything, but 36 hours. It's like a game you play. So it's almost 40 hours a week. And they love it.
Over 3 days.
3 days.
Of just driving. That's better than Uber, bro.
Yeah.
I get, you know what? You know what's so crazy? My mom, we had to transfer her from this facility to my brother's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to bring her bed from my house to my brother's house while they were taking her from the facility to my brother's house. So I had to get a U-Haul. We put the bed in the truck and we drove over. So before, like literally while we're pulling up, the ambulance is pulling up with my mom to go to into my brother's house. But I had to back the truck up in front of the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
And we start taking the bed out, and I'm like, my bad, bro. Like, I'm sorry to hold you up. He's like, I'm good. I'm straight. Him and another guy. Yeah. He's like, I'm good. I'm like, yo, I know y'all probably got stuff to do. He's like, I get paid by the hour, bro. I'm straight. He was just on the Instagram. And at first I was like, this guy's really nice. He doesn't mind I'm inconveniencing him. But now while you're saying it, I'm like, he's like, yo, take your time, bro. My clock still runs to do absolutely nothing right now.
Because to the general public, you think all ambulance companies belong to like a fire department.
Right.
So when you see the average person saying, you know, like myself, I have no college degree, right? Dropped out of college, just started business. I just learned that I was really good at generating income as an entrepreneur. So when I speak to people and they ask me, what do I do? I say, well, I own an ambulance company. Like, you own what? Like, can you really do that? Yeah, you actually can. You know what I mean? And so 5 of the people that I've assisted that are doing very well, I actually don't think any of them have a college degree, but they just took a liking to this situation. And
I'm gonna be number 6.
We got
I'll be like, okay, listen, guys, you have to not have a college degree to get this right.
No, I'm not saying that.
But yo, Joe, can you grab me that sweatshirt? There's a sweatshirt over there. It's a black one. Can you grab that for me? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. It's just, and people have to understand though also, but there's a certain level of responsibility because you're looked at. Think about it, right? The public can't tell the difference. Mm-hmm. So you start opening up an ambulance company, and let's say you're wearing your shirt. Don't be surprised if you go into a restaurant.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Don't be surprised if you go into a restaurant and someone goes, oh, thank you for your service. You're like, what?
Right.
You know?
right.
You know, it's like, what? Because you're looked at differently. Because, and as an owner, I tell people all the time, your conversation is different. Now, you're on the phone with doctors, you know, nephrologists, which are doctors, kidney doctors. Gotcha. You're on the phone with, you know, social workers. So being an ambulance owner, and those people know the type of income you're generating. So you're not—
Do they know?
Oh, yeah. I've got doctors that work for me. You know, you need a medical director. So you have people now that know that you're on this top tier with them.
Right.
You know, doctors always looked at it as a certain way, but now you got a doctor looking at you at the same eye level. Like, hey, you know, Hanz, how's it going? Like, where eat lunch? Do you need a medical director? Like, no, I'm good. You know, I don't need. So the door's open because you're not just opening up an ambulance company. And I tell all my mentees, you're entering the healthcare field. And just like how the ambulance company brought me into home health. So it's like the next goal is to open up a medical center. You know, yeah.
What would that medical center look like?
Man, to be honest with you, it's going to be a one-stop shop. So if you go to other states like Florida, medical centers are booming. Like you're a doctor, he's a chiropractor, and I'm an optometrist. We provide transportation for people.
I'm sorry, Joe doesn't know what an ophthalmologist is. So
eye doctor.
Bro.
So we can just have
it's eyes, bro. You know what I mean?
But you get all these elderly patients that you pick up. So now you're getting paid on the transportation to bring them to the doctor so they can take care of everything at once. You provide food for them and you're getting paid on that. It's crazy, man. And in Florida, there's a medical center almost on every block.
Atlanta's not like that?
No. My girlfriend works for
What we doing? I don't know. What we doing? I need to be down with this.
Me and Gooch, we flew out to Miami and I showed him and his eyes opened up. We just haven't moved on it. I'm like, bro, this is the thing. Like, let's get it before people really gravitate. So ironically, my girl who she has a master's in business. She just got a job like 7 months ago at a medical center. They average $1 million a month. They're opening up 20 other, I think they're at like 50. They're opening up 20 more. Yeah.
I'm like, my goodness. And you know all that it takes to open it up?
I'm learning. And she's my, you know.
I want parts.
So yeah, it's this thing.
I want parts of that. Golly. All right, so I'm waiting to get into my, I think they called my wife the other day actually about renewing, paying some fee or something like that. And I think we'll be soon opening up because I want to get into the medical space because I went through it with my mom and my aunt. So that's why I feel like there's so many people that need it and it's a huge opportunity because we have a hard time finding someone that, you know, we rely on.
And you've done this for how long now? Podcast?
3 years.
So how many young Blacks have you seen say, hey, I own something in like the healthcare?
You and Gooch? And Brad?
You know?
Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast.
But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch your podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode. Yeah, I know, boy. So how many of those are really, so the opportunity is there, but we always go into it as, well, I want to be a nurse. Or I want
Exactly.
To be
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. When y'all talking, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
A long time, it was just Gooch that I knew. And I'm like, yo, other people doing that? And then what was crazy, so then I started talking to Brad because I knew Brad. So I'm like, oh, so y'all do the same thing. And it so happened that Brad kind of showed Gooch.
He mentored Gooch.
So I'm like, it's just y'all right now? Yeah. Oh, I want parts.
And I got a guy right now, man. Shout out to my guy, Britt from Miami with me. I showed him how to do, before I started my masterclass, I actually showed him how to start an ambulance company. Britt is killing the game. He's got 10 trucks. Yeah, you teach somebody and they surpass you, and you're like, in a happy way jealous, like, yo, what's up? You know, like,
is he all in with it?
He's all in. He just actually bought 2 box trucks, so now he's doing, the ambulance company presents opportunities to do other things. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And not only, like, he's averaging, like, he told me 160 a month. Yeah, like, I'm like, Britt, you killing me. Like, you know, I should have partnered up with you instead of teaching you. And he's all the way in Lithia Springs. So what he did was find a patch where no one's at. Mm. And the nursing homes are calling him like crazy. So he's like, Hanz, there's too much business out here for me. Like, you need to come out here. Dang. Yeah, like, it's like that. So and then you have movie sets. You know, movie sets pay us on an average $200 an hour to park an ambulance at a movie set.
$200 an hour to park an ambulance.
Yeah, with 2 EMTs. So imagine this now. I got EMTs that I'm paying, what I told you guys, 15 to 18, but I'm like, hey, I'll pay you $20 an hour, sit at a movie set, somebody gets hurt, transport.
You got 2 people, that's 40. You make 160 just because you had an idea to put the relationship.
Well, now they're requiring, like, all movie sets require EMTs on there. All Tyler Perry sets require EMTs on there. So there's different avenues there's different ways to make money. That's why I keep telling people, you're not just opening up an ambulance company, you're entering the healthcare industry. And if people look at it like that, they'll be more successful.
Goodness gracious. Okay. Whew. Okay. How much time is required to build this thing out? Is the hardest part and most time requirement coming from getting the patients?
I can't say that's never been difficult for me. I think the biggest obstacle that everyone has, I think, across America is just finding good workers.
Yeah.
But now that the state has provided this EMR program, that's going to help. That's going to help us find better workers. Yeah. And also it's going to increase our profit margin. Because now I'm not paying an EMR when I'm paying an EMT. Mm-hmm. You can only drive, so you're $12 an hour.
Right.
I give my EMTs $1 more. Buy the loyalty.
$1 more. Okay.
So now they're at 18, whatever. Yeah. But now I have someone who's going to my turnover ratio is going to decrease.
Mm-hmm. Because you're paying them good.
I'm paying them more.
You give them health insurance?
Yes. I'm probably one of the
only companies. So they're W-2 employees?
Yes. So again, we could talk outside of this. Just being in both areas, the profit margin in the home health is definitely a lot more. Mm-hmm. But I'm hands off for both. So I think I'm not really worried about my profit margin. You know, and so it's like, I have this thing where if I make right now $30,000 a month, I'm good, kind of. You know what I mean? Because I'm like a lot of guys' spending habits. Yeah. You know, I lack discipline in that, which I'm working on that. But I realized that, okay, if I make 10 grand from the home health, 10 grand from the ambulance, 10 grand from the restaurant, I'm still allowing these companies to grow because I'm not sucking the life out of them financially.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just about building different
Oh, you're saying you pay yourself, like in that example.
Yeah,
You pay yourself. I
like
see.
you have the room to pay yourself more, but why? When you can now buy another ambulance.
That's smart.
You know what I'm saying? Or it's just about really building the company's financial portfolio. And so you'll realize that once you do that, there's contracts and everything that come with it. You know, and we didn't even talk about the VA aspect of it on both home health and transportation.
Let's talk about it. How did you incorporate?
I have a young lady, so in home health, I have it, and I talked to Gooch for he's Gooch is like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, because he's doing really well with what he's doing. But I know a young lady who started home health. I know she's doing good, man, because she went and bought 2 cars at one time. You know, so it's like, you killing it. So, and then she just opened up 3 other offices in different states, one in Maryland, one in Alabama.
Home healthcare business.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All she does is VA. She doesn't do no pediatric, no VA patients.
What is VA?
Veterans.
Only veterans.
Killing the game.
Golly. Okay, let's get back to this ambulance thing, right? What type of ambulance trucks do you recommend?
Now, you and I, we're working on some things, so I don't know how much do you want me to save for the masterclass?
Nah, just give us everything. Here's my thing. We can't teach them how to make $1 million in a podcast episode.
Yeah, got you.
You know what I mean? And I know a lot of it's in your course, yes.
Yeah.
But so let's just break down as much as we can to offer to our friends.
All right. So what's the question?
So what type of vehicle do you recommend?
So when we first got into this business, like everybody had this rite of passage of getting a diesel truck. Diesel trucks are really good for the winter, but regular gas trucks are the thing to do now, because with diesel trucks, the maintenance.
Are we getting a Sprinter or are we getting a what?
I would go Sprinter.
Sprinter, man?
Yeah, because Sprinter works 2 ways, right? Marketing, it has a better, it's just easier on the eyes.
Yeah.
Recruiting. Employees always want to get on the newest truck.
Yeah.
And then your patients love it. So I do Sprinter. So I tried the box. I tried the diesel. Right now, all of our trucks are Sprinters, and it works great.
But a box truck transporting patients?
A lot of room in the back. A lot of patients, your heavier patients, hyperbaric patients, you might always want to have that in your back pocket for the bigger patients.
I see. But okay, so in my mind, I think box truck is just big box, and I'm thinking only boxes and wood and stuff going on.
Oh, no, there's
but you build it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you build it out. I got a company called Frontier, and they actually build ambulances from scratch.
Oh,
They're
word.
in Manchester, Georgia. So
not the actual truck.
The truck, it's a shell.
So you give them a Sprinter.
Or they'll get one for you.
Okay,
and they'll build it out for you.
Oh.
From scratch.
Okay.
All the cabinets, all the wiring, the lights. They'll even wrap it for you with your logo, everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. And getting into the business, what do you think we need to have in capital to get it started?
I think the average person should feel comfortable with like 40. Yeah.
40 grand?
Yeah. Because you got to pay for your license, which is like another $5,000. You got to pay for the trucks to get inspected, which is $1,500 a piece. I always suggest to anyone getting in this business, you don't go in with one truck, because and people will ask why. If that truck breaks down and you already have a commitment to patients, now I'm coming to you like, hey, can you transport these 3 patients for me? The chance of you giving me those patients back or sending them, yeah, I got you, Hanz, I got you. Like, yo, my truck's fixed. Yeah, I know, but the patients want to stay with me. And that happens.
Yeah.
So I tell people, get into it with 2 trucks. So if you want to buy 2 trucks and put, a couple of $1,000 down, and then you're paying monthly, that'll help offset the $40,000. Then you got to get an office space. And really the Medicare license is less than $1,000. So you could do 40 or you could do less. It really just depends on the trucks. How do you want to go with that? If you want to buy or you want used or new. I also suggest to people, if you're going to get one used, get a new one just to back up. Because, you know what I mean? And have your mechanics on standby, at least 3 mechanics that you need. If one can't get to a truck, you got another one. An auto body guy, I got 3 auto body guys. I got 3 mechanics. I got the rule of 3 on everything.
Yeah, for sure. So you're talking about with that 40, that'd like really have you good. Nice truck. Well, 2 trucks.
2 nice trucks.
Wrap, license, all that.
Ready to go. Equipment, your office, computer, like uniforms. Yeah.
Give me some strategy on how to get clients, though.
It's all about marketing, right? You have to find the need. So my first thing I did was, before I even really, I got my license, but I was in the application process. I went to like either 30 social workers and asked them, what is the biggest problem? And why do you want, I'm starting an ambulance company, but before I could promise you anything, I need to know what's your biggest issue with transportation company? Customer service and broken promises and time management. If you're gonna be late, just tell me you're gonna be late. So that's all I honed in on.
Broken promises, time management, and what was the other one?
Customer service.
And customer service.
Yeah. So like you, right? You have an edge on everyone because if you open a home health and you've dealt with your family member, you go in there with another level of interest.
Oh, 100%, bro. They said they're going to pick up my mom at 10 o'clock. They just don't. They just don't. And then you call back and they're like, oh, well, we got somebody on our way.
So like, there's so many
5
people,
o'clock now.
Yeah. So there's so many people doing that. Imagine just doing what's right.
Yeah.
And saying, I want all my employees to treat. There's no real way to market. Just, it's a person. Like, treat the person like a person. You know what I mean? If it's your mom, wouldn't you want somebody calling you saying, hey, we're going to run a few minutes late?
Yeah.
And that's the key to it. Like, as long as you communicate to the social workers and they could talk to the techs and the nurses, like, hey, first responders is running 30 minutes late. It gives everybody a jump on how to be prepared and what to do with the next patient. But
is that the name of your company?
Yes, First Responders EMS. Gotcha. So once the communication is not there, then everything starts. It's a domino effect.
Exactly.
Now they're waiting. The next patient that's coming is late. The social workers and the nurses have to work late. And all you have to do is do what's right, and that's your marketing.
That's real, bro.
Yeah, do what's right, and that's your marketing. Our slogan is, where the customers come first. And my employees know that at any given point, because I'm an EMT. If I catch you with your shirt tucked, if I get phone calls from when I first started from social workers, because I gave them the leeway and to call me and say, hey, one of your employees are here with no shirt on. I mean, shirt tucked in, not tucked in.
Your shirt has to be tucked in? Is that a standard?
Let me ask you, if your mom's in an ambulance, do you feel more comfortable with someone who has their shirt tucked in and looking professional or someone?
100%.
It just goes to how seriously they take the job.
Bruh, it's this little stuff.
The little subtle things that people don't pay attention to.
Dang.
And if your employees don't really grasp that's the culture you're trying to build, you have to set that tone. So even for people that want to own an ambulance company, I would encourage them, just go get the EMR class. Because at any given day, I want to say, hey, where are you at? I'm so-and-so. Okay, pull over. I'll be right there. Yeah, you go home because this is what I heard. And if they don't feel that, if you don't show your employees how important this is to you, you see what I'm saying? Like, both my parents passed away on dialysis. So this is like, and the social workers know that. So I give them that personal nugget, like that tidbit to, like, no, this is real to me.
Yeah.
And I get social workers that when a patient passes away, they call me and like, hey, you okay? Because they know we get this bond, and my employees are like, no, we take these patients seriously. Like, we actually don't call them patients, we call them customers. And we don't even put the sick kind of thing.
Gotcha.
We don't put that on it. It's like, no, you're a customer. Because at any given day, if the customer doesn't like me and she wants to transport with you, I just lost $5,000.
Yeah.
Like, I tell my employees, like, I just lost $60,000 a month because you did not want to tell me you were going to be late. So we could tell the patient, hey, we're running late, or the customer. So
you're a great leader, man.
I appreciate
Seems like
that.
you're like a good person to work for, too.
I hope so. I tell people all the time, don't be the person you got to work for, be the person you want to work for. So,
how'd you develop that, though?
Being in the fire department, there were some lieutenants that, when I looked on the schedule, I was like, I'm about to call out. And there was certain lieutenants that, oh man, Blunt's there. Like, not that they made it fun, but they were true leaders. And, and being a leader is like being, like, you got to respect the person, There were certain firefighters that you didn't, I don't know if they knew you had kids or something, like they'll talk to you like, bro, you know what I mean? And there were some people that were younger than you or older than you, but they're like, no, Hanz, I need you to do this. Like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go in this fire for you. Like, I know you. You know what I mean? When I see you on the schedule, I'm like, yeah, what do you need me to do? It's just that respect.
Yeah.
We all got the same goal. Why you got to shine more than me? You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
I don't, like, even my restaurant, you wouldn't know, like, if you go to my restaurant right now, I'm serving tables, I'm sweeping. I don't, like, I'm that guy that I always tell people, I'll be the producer. Like, I don't need to be on stage. I'm that guy that likes to be in the background.
Yeah.
You know, like my cousin, it was his concept with the gourmet grilled cheese. I came up with the names. But anytime somebody asks, I'm like, no, this is his restaurant. You know, now people might know, but you know.
Right, for sure.
But I like playing the background, man. That's my thing. I don't care about who shines. Like, we all trying to get paid. It's a concept that everybody say, but not everyone believes in. You know what I'm saying? So I know you're very successful. So there's probably people that, you know, I don't have to know you to know that there's some people that you had to like, you thought they were there for your best interest. You're like, man, we still trying to accomplish the same goal. 100%. Why you have to be...
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
for sure.
You know, I've literally, my first business partner with first responders started another company behind my back.
Really?
That I brought into the business.
You started the company with him?
Yeah.
And then he started another company?
Yeah.
On the side.
And we trying to be successful. So I learned that. That's why I was like, you know, I want to be the person you want to be affiliated with, not have to, because we're contractually obligated.
I feel that.
You know, that's just light. I want my kids to be like, no, I love being around my dad. Not because he's my dad, but I just love being around.
Absolutely.
You know, I have to be. You know, so that's my thought process, man. And then I tell people not to get personal, but when you lose two parents in like less than 2 years' time, like you realize how valuable time is.
Yeah.
Like, man, I can't do this. I'm gonna make sure that this guy, when he sees me, he's like, I like Hanz. I could like, you know, I'm gonna probably put my best foot forward every time we meet because I want you to be like, I really like this guy.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what Gooch and the guy we don't want to mention, that's why we build relationships. Like, I'll go to hell and back for them because I want to see them successful.
For sure.
You know.
Let me ask you, what is the mindset that you've adopted for your success? Because it seems like you have a strong grasp on the concept of becoming successful. But what is some of the mindset that maybe you teach your students how to approach it? Because it's not necessarily all about the how to or the what to do. It's about who you're becoming. Because I could say, all right, well, make sure you call 10 people or go to 10 social workers and try to get their business. Well, depending on the person that's doing the calls, you'll have different outcomes.
Yes.
Because it's all about the person you're becoming as an entrepreneur. So how do you work on the mindset of your students?
Don't worry about the money. The money will come. Yeah. My employees, like, well, I'm not there. I'll take care of you. Don't worry about the money. Take care of the patients. If you take care of the patients, everything else will fall in line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just do what's right. I got you. Like, I don't have to, like, this is not even though the ambulance company can generate a lot of money, I'm not just solely dependent on this. So, like, certain business owners, it's, you know, people don't get raises. Like, you asked me, do I provide health insurance? Yeah, I'm like one of the only companies, if not the only minority company that provides health insurance for it. So I'll take care of you. Just, you take care of the customers.
Yeah.
I got you. And once they really see, because a lot of people, of course, they'll doubt that. Once they really see that, and hey, can I get a cash advance? Can I, you know, whatever, I got you. Or I'm pregnant.
You do that? You do a cash advance?
I limit it, but it's on a case by case. But again, I don't want to see anyone struggle. I do believe that, you know, a lack of preparation on your behalf does not constitute an emergency on my behalf. Right. So it's like, you know,
100%.
There's limitations to that, but it's just an example of, you know, if it's a cash advance, it's like, okay, what can we do to help you get out the situation? Not temporarily, like, what's the goal?
Right.
You know, so that this doesn't happen again.
And I'm guessing you're coaching them in terms of like, okay, let's not make this a habit. Let's find out why.
Well, there's documentation. It's like, hey, everything we do is documented. Yeah. And there's policy and procedures. So when you open up an ambulance company, one of the things I give all my mentees is my policy and procedures. I say, like, use this as your Bible.
Gotcha.
Because this came with a lot of, like, trials and tribulations.
It's like the tuck your shirt in thing in there as well?
Yeah, everything. Gotcha. You know, at the fire department, we learn nothing. Anytime there's a new rule, that's because something happened. Yeah. You know, so with policy and procedures, like, oh, add that to the policy and procedures. Now, something that was 2 pages is like 100 pages, you know?
Right.
Because it's like, oh, this happened. Okay, this is no longer acceptable. Please do not. Okay, this happened. Okay, so now let's add this. And now every employee that walks through my door gets that policy and procedure.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Gotcha.
You know.
I want to invite you to pick my brain.
Mine too.
Yours too?
Mine too.
Yours too. Okay, you guys. We are so excited because we just dropped our newest podcast series called the Brain Picker Podcast. David.
Oh, it's going down. You get to pick our brain. You have a business idea, a concept, you're stuck, you can't get off the ground. You need the advice of seasoned, experienced entrepreneurs. Not only entrepreneurs that are practitioners, but we got a lot of people that we've been coaching all over the last decade.
All over the globe.
That got receipts.
Not just that, you never know where your next investor might be hanging out, and the word on the street is we got all the connections.
That's a big fact.
We got all the connections. So if you want to sit down with us and pick our brains
in front of our audience,
and we're letting you pick our brains, we won't even talk bad about you for doing it in front of our audience, bringing your business maximum exposure. Find the link somewhere around here, wherever you see it.
It's there.
And apply
right now
to pick our brain.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
How do you hire your employees? What are some of the things that you're looking for? What are some of the, I don't know. So what's your process in hiring?
We have a 3-step process. Okay, first we'll do Indeed. And then when the person calls, or we call them.
Indeed is the hiring platform. Only reason I know
yes.
is we're doing some hiring right now.
Yes, sir. So Indeed is the hiring platform that we use. Or if word of mouth, we give employees incentives to like recruit for us. Mm-hmm. But if someone calls, we have what we call a first contact. And we'll ask a series of questions to see if we need to take them to the next step. Mm-hmm. And if they answer those questions correctly, and at the end of the first contact is, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. Are you still interested in becoming a first responder?
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay, cool. We're going to set you up for the interview. Now, the interview will ask more in-depth questions like, if this happened and this happened, what would you do? Mm. If you're arriving 30 minutes late, what do you do? So now based on our experience, we generated questions to see if we're going to get the right answers. And you might not have the right answers, but, so you got to be somewhere in that you're just trying to do the right thing.
Yo, have you ever gotten a wrong answer and you're like, why would you put that, bro? Like, give me some examples of like you ask a question and you're like, this is a layup right here, but you just answered that joint wrong.
Well, you know what? I'll go even beyond that. You get people that come in interviews with like flip-flops and a hat and they're like, you knew this was an interview today, right? Like, yeah, okay, cool. We're not interested. Because once you allow that, it's what you set the tone.
Oh, so you're not even wasting time like that, bro.
I'm not that. That's why I'm an EMT. I could jump on the truck myself.
Right.
Like, no, I'm not doing that. You represent me when you represent our company.
Got you.
And so I've had people do that and they come with it and I'll turn them at the door like, no, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. And then ironically, it'll make them want to come back and present themselves, in a different fashion.
You take them though, or you're like, you're already...
Nah, first impression is huge to me, man. That should be like you and I was just talking. I said, I'm always make sure I put my best foot forward with you. So, just for allowing me here, it's like, okay, cool. I'm up an hour. Like, what am I gonna wear? Like, because people look at you. Unfortunately, people see something, then they hear what you got to say. You know
what I do though? Like for like even interviews, if I say we're gonna shoot at like 11, I just tell them 10:30 because in my experience. Like people just, they're always like you're gonna be right on time, and then we're like behind a little bit, and you got to give people room to, room for error, things of that nature. And I guess that's what it taught me about people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I guess you're in a people business where you're hiring people. So how do you want to present yourself as an employer to the employee?
I mean, attitude reflects leadership. So there's a saying, kind of what you said at the fire department. When I was getting interviewed, when I got an interview, if my interview was at 12 o'clock, and this happened to me when I worked for Henry County Fire Department, I was there at 11. Mm-hmm. Suit, tie, just sitting there like, I'm about to kill this interview. Yeah. And then my lieutenant came out and said, what's your name? And I was like, Hanz. Like, you're here early. In Florida, they had this, I went to the fire academy, they had this saying, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Mm. So even when Goose says, my man from Sleepers Suckers wants to meet you at 12:30, I was at the parking lot like 11:45. Just
were you?
Drinking coffee. I was like, first impression. This guy's taking, and your time is valuable. Yeah. I got to take your time serious. Yeah, so sure. I look at that also. That's like the first thing, even before they come in. I've had employees like, no, I'm waiting in the parking lot. Nice. I just want to make sure this was the right location. That's like a check mark plus. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because they do that with you, they might do that with their patients. You know, so it's like,
this is game right here.
Extra early. I love it. So,
golly.
Yeah,
let's say you have an employee that they have potential, but they just can't seem to get right. It's almost like, they have really good potential. How much patience do you have with your employee? And what do you do in terms of, do you have like a methodology on getting someone up to speed versus just saying, well, this isn't the right person?
There's always room to retrain, right? But if I always like putting a company together is like putting a football team together, right? You might not have that person that can run, but he can block. I'm going to find something like, okay, and if it's not really affecting the patients or the customers, then I can have more patience to develop you. But if it's something like you're dropping a patient, something that might, mess up my livelihood, it's like, hey man, you got to go. It's not even a 3 strike. Yeah. But if it's something like, we got to just work on your time management. Okay, we can fix that. Let's work on that. And again, everything's documented. There's a verbal counseling, then a written, and then there's opportunities for you to, fire yourself.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, I'm not going to fire you, fired yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
Don't like Hanz fire you. No, I gave you. This is on you, bro. You fired yourself. That has nothing to do with me. You have an opportunity to succeed. You have an opportunity to fail. It's all on you. And if it's something like that, and then the movie sets are used as an incentive. Yeah. So if I'm like, hey, you making 15, but I'm gonna put you on a movie set because you come to work on time, and I'm gonna pay you $20 an hour, and that's straight cash. Don't worry about taxes being taken out. You gotta keep coming to work on time because you always want to be on that movie set list. There's different ways to do it. Plenty ways to skin a cat. But
do you teach your mentors, your mentees, like this side of the business? Because there's a lot of people, they'll teach you like what to do, but like so if you just tell me what to do in terms of like getting a truck and you need this type of insurance, you need this type of truck, but I don't understand. I'm asking you, do you teach this kind of stuff?
Yeah, because like I said, none of my mentees they have experience in this.
Yeah.
So whatever you do moving forward is a reflection on me, right? So my mentees call me 3, 4 in the morning, like, hey, I just had this situation. I'm like, okay, yeah, just do this. Or one of my other guys said, hey, do you know anyone who can, someone just called me last week because his truck broke down. Do you know anyone who rents trucks? I was like, yeah, let me shoot you this number. Boom, he'll lease your truck for it. But he's like, man, this guy's the truth. Like, why you ain't never? So it's like always a constant ongoing, because I'm not expecting you to understand the whole gamut of like the healthcare industry in 30 days or however long it takes you to get licensed. It's just an ongoing process. But I came into the game working together with people. Like healthcare, and it might be the same with home health, and it's competitive, but it's like, why can't we all, you don't see dentists like fighting each other and stealing patients. You don't see chiropractors stealing patients, but in the ambulance company, people are really aggressive as far as like, this is my territory. I came into it with a different mindset, and it's open doors. So it's like, if I come to you and I help you, I realize the more I help you, the more I get blessed. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you'll call me and say, hey man, nobody showed up on my truck today. I'm like, where are you at? I'll jump on it for you. And people are like, you gonna help them? And it's like, we all in the same, system. So with my mentees especially, I'm gonna help them out.
Yeah.
That's like an invested interest.
Yeah.
And then you never know when your truck breaks down, and you could call a Jonathan or somebody and say, hey, you got a truck in the cab? Yeah, I got one. I need a patient. But if you keep everything close-knit, then you're not gonna find anybody to help you.
Man, I would work for you, man.
I appreciate it.
I already work jobs and stuff, but I'll work for you, man. It seems like there's so much to learn just in the personal development process. That's why I'm definitely going to be one of your mentees. The time that it takes, dude, can I finish? Please. All right. Are you leaving? Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. The time that it takes to build out this business. Tell me a little bit about it, because I have a lot going on.
Yeah.
I do. Now, I do have a beautiful wife that is ambitious. And she's very ambitious. She's learning herself on like being consistent, in business, things of that nature. So that's somebody I can lean on. But I'm a busy guy, man.
Yeah.
Like, what is it going to take? Just be honest. Like, what is it going to take to like build?
Someone's going to have to put in some blood, sweat, and tears. Like, and it's really creating a presence, right? So I could work for you, and if I never see you, if you don't have that strong person there to embody what you want to teach, people are going to show up late. So for the first month and a half, I mean, if it's not you, your wife, staff meetings. Like, hey, I'm so-and-so. What's your wife's name? I'm sorry.
Andrea.
I'm Andrea. I own this company. This is what we're going to be doing moving forward. Even if she knows very little about EMS, she has to at least present that front like, hey, I know enough to know where you're supposed to be at. I know how to count my runs and make sure that I'm getting paid. I know that you guys aren't doing your runs. They have to, you can't let your employees know that they know more than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's going to take at least one person until your wife can trust someone else and pay that person a substantial amount that they make sure your dollars are coming in.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? So my guy who's running, he's been with me since 2007 with the fire department. And then when I brought him on just this year, that's my right-hand man. That's what lets me, affords me to be here with you. Wow. But he gets paid great. He gets paid more than I do. Because again, I don't have to depend on the ambulance company.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no, I'm going to make sure. Because he's like, hey, this person there, yeah, take care of that. You know what I mean? Instead of somebody who doesn't care. It takes a while. And it takes somebody's consistent presence to be there. So if you can't do it, your wife can. You have an upper hand than I do, to be honest with you, now that I think about it, because you are huge on social media. And a lot of the people that you will employ are younger that probably know of you. So they're like, oh, we work for Sleeping Society. So I can see that being an extra added to like incentive to working for you. You know what I mean? So like, you want to work for me? I'll be like, nah, I work for that dude for Sleep. So it's there.
That's lit. I did put something on my Instagram and I was like, yo, obviously, I'm talking about like I'm hiring people. I got mad DMs, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'll quit my job right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you do? They're like, well, I can do whatever. Just let me know what you need. I'm like, dang, that's lit.
But the thing about that is
cool.
filtering that, right? Because how many people really want to get on and just see if you're going to give them?
For sure.
Instead of like really earning it.
That's why we're on Indeed right now. And I have my uncle going through, and he's been a big CFO for a lot of companies, and he's going through the interview process to find a finance, whether we're doing an accountant or a controller or what have you. But he's going through the process because he's going to be able to filter it, because I don't want nobody to. I don't know if I want people to work for me because they know me. I want them to look at the business as an opportunity for themselves to grow. The health of the business, maybe not like fans of mine necessarily. Yeah. And sometimes it works. So Joe, he came into like one of my coaching programs, and I forgot how we started working together, but he just kept coming around doing stuff.
And that's my thought. I was gonna say, you want to eliminate half those people that DM you. When you give them a job, just make them sweet. Say, nah, just because 90% of those people think that they're gonna have Joey's spot or they're gonna be doing something in the camera. Like, no, I just need somebody to sweep for like a month. See if they stick around. If they really want it.
Yeah.
Because if you told me you was going to give me an offer, if I wasn't in my situation and doing what I did and I really wanted to work for you, you could tell me, hey, I just need you to clean the bathrooms. If I really want to do it, I'm going to do it. Because before I started an ambulance company, I was cleaning homes. Like, there was so little money in the fire department that after tax season, if I spent my money, I told you I'd like spend it. I'm like, my homeboy's like, yo, I clean houses. It's like, all right, cool, whatever I got to do. And I'm cleaning rich white people's toilets. But, it's it's part of the grind. Like, I'm going to always find something to do. And so it helped me get to the bigger understanding of things. And so, you want to eliminate half those people. If you want an ambulance company, don't put them on an ambulance. No, I just need you to study my policy and procedures for a week. I'm going to come back and quiz you. Right? So I read Russell Simmons' book.
This guy's brilliant, man. Golly.
I said, I would love to see how many people you really think would sit here, watch you and Joey get all the shine, and they back there sweeping and mopping like some damn Mr. Miyagi type stuff. Or you just trying to figure out why you wash on, wash off. And then you realize after that process, you're ready to fight or you're ready to sit on stage. Now you earn it. Everybody who comes here should not earn a seat right next to you. You got way too many followers.
Yeah.
And you just said how he had to really hang around.
Yeah.
Right?
He was just doing stuff for free, right? You're just doing stuff, like whatever needed to be done. And we just continued to build a relationship. Then it was time for him to quit his job. And he came to me with a proposal. I'm like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I see. I read Russell Simmons' book years ago, and he had this chapter about just going, if you want to get a job at a gas station, don't even ask anybody for a job. Just go out there and sweep every day. Just sweep every day. He said, sooner or later, they're going to ask you to come inside. And he said, then you're going to learn to stock. Then they're going to ask you to be on the cashier. You know what I'm saying? And you build it to the point where you learn how to run your own gas station.
Yeah.
He said, don't ask anybody. Just go out there and sweep the parking lot every day.
Yeah.
He said, sooner or later, they'll ask you to come in.
And I think even another caveat to that is you have to actually sweep, do a good job with a good attitude. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
And I think that's, people miss that too. The expectation is just so that this needs to happen. I'm doing what you told me to do, but you're doing it because that's what you were told to do, not trying to take pride in your job. And I guess that says a lot about people.
And that goes hand in hand with the ambulance company. So I got customers that call, like this one girl, the customer called and said, hey, I just want to commend, Cece. And I know she'll love that I said her name, Cece. And she's just amazing. She takes care of this. I've had clients, families say, Hanz, the only reason I deal with you, because sometimes you guys are late. She'll tell me, but you treat my so-and-so like that's your son. I've had a lady tell me that, But I'm constantly calling them. I'm calling them for the holidays. I'm calling them if somebody's at the hospital. Even if they're at the hospital, I'm calling the family members to see if they need something. Because people forget about the caregiver. And they had some study out that said, like, 70% of caregivers go through so much stress that they end up being sick.
Mm-hmm.
But people are just solely just tunnel vision on the actual patient. So I coach my mentees and my employees. Don't just pay attention to the patient, pay attention to the family member.
Yeah.
Because their whole life is turned upside down now because they got to take care of one person.
Exactly.
You know how much stress that is? Again, coming from someone who had to take care of his mom and dad before they passed. So again, you having that experience is marketable. Yeah. Like, I'm not somebody who can say, I understand what you're going through. No, I really do understand what you're going through.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's not just a slogan. Like, no, I feel you. Like, no. And so when social workers see that passion and they see that in your employees, don't worry about marketing. I haven't marketed in 4 years. Now everything is just referral based. Like, I literally got paid $7,000 to take a patient to New York because the family member only trusted me, my company, with getting his sister from Brooklyn, New York. I was in Brooklyn, New York, Mount Zion Hospital, to South Carolina. I'll pay you $7,000. I was like, when do I need to do this? He's like, tomorrow. I'm like, I'll make it happen. As soon as we got to South Carolina, the very next day, the sister passed away. Oh. But that's what they wanted. So now I'm getting phone calls from the father like, you will always be a part of my life. Like, they'll tell you stuff that like give you the chills and say, okay, this is why I got into the business. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that just goes. Like, they'll go back and refer you, because people get sick, unfortunately. Yeah. I want to be that person they call.
100%.
So,
dang. This was a masterclass. Man, I appreciate it. I got to do a quick commercial, but I got to ask you one question before we wrap. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years so that I can watch this video and say, man, Hanz said that 5 years ago he was going to do that. And look, he did it. Grilled cheeses all over the city.
Yeah, that's definitely like the restaurant thing is, I'm so thankful to God. That thing is like, we've only been open since July. Our numbers have tripled since July 4th. Nobody's doing gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches the way we're doing.
I want one right now, bro.
We got to say, I'll bring you guys one actually. Literally, if you guys are going to be here, I'm going to call the order in. I'll go pick one up for y'all and I'll bring it back.
Yo, stop being such a great leader, bro.
No,
please, golly, man. Like, you really do take it the extra mile. Like, I'm going to take care of people, period.
Life is short, bro. Life is short. I got to do what I can right now. I'm not saying I wake up every day like cats like on social media with this enthusiasm. No, I'm going through a slump. I'll tell you, like, I don't feel like doing none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I have an opportunity, like, y'all open y'all doors for me. Y'all don't have to do that. I could still be on the outside looking in. In fact, I was on the outside knocking on like this, next door. And it was like, no. But I mean, when you was here with the young lady, I'm over there like just thanking God. I'm like, oh, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, this is dope. You know what I mean? And somebody told me one time, and I say this quickly because I know you have to go on commercial, but I felt like I was going through a slump. So I reached out to one of my mentors who's big in mortgages, and he's like, are you the biggest fish in your pond? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you need to find another pond to swim in. Mm-hmm. And that pond, like being around someone like you who's successful, it's like, oh, I'm get in my Range Rover. I'm like, I'm ready to go to work. You know, sometimes you need those people to inspire you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I got to do that and you guys give Aunt Cheese a shout out, I'm going to drive the hell and back to get that sandwich. Like, yo, hey, make that sandwich right now, real quick. I got 2 people that, we
so
got to do.
That's actually on point because we ain't eat yet.
Yeah.
So.
You know Keisha from Cirque?
From
Cirque Bistro. She owns those. She's, you got to get her, man. She's the only female that owns 2 restaurants in Atlanta, not rents. She owns Cirque Bistro in Buckhead off of Georgia 400.
Really?
You ever see Georgia 400? You see, she's
the big monstrosity of a building. It looked like a castle almost.
She owns that. And
really?
then she owns Blue.
The crab legs are crazy.
Listen,
you been there? Listen to me, brother.
Listen, yeah,
crab
you
legs.
tripping. Mondays,
all their food was amazing.
Mondays, it's all you can eat crab legs. And not all you can eat where you eat a cluster and you got to wait 30 minutes. No, there's people coming around with buckets.
Yo, that spot,
until you go, I'm done.
Their food was amazing. I had some others. Every time I've been there, it was such a vibe, bro.
And then she owns a new restaurant she opened last year called Blue, right in downtown. Yeah, I think so. It's just BLU. So she called me the other day and like, Hans, can I get a grilled cheese on its way? Because I was leaving Lennox. But anybody who could add to my life, I'm going to open the doors and I'm going to give shout outs to like 1,000. I was about to wear Justin's shirt here. You know,
for sure.
If I could promote people, man, I'm going to do it because the more I give, I realize the more I get back. So it ain't nothing to me, man.
I rocks with you. All right, give me the 5 years. 5 years.
5 years, I want to own a medical center, continue with the home health, continue with the ambulance company, and I got a 2-way plan. I want to package it and I'm going to really grind out for 3 years. Like grind, like even if I have to be on an ambulance company and show that my profit margin is ridiculous and the home health is doing its own thing and the medical center will do its own thing. My goal is to package these 3 and sell it to like a Piedmont or Emory. 5-10 mil, be out.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, out of here. Because they're going to look at your P&L,
sure.
Right? They're going to look at your rent roll and they're going to say, we're getting a business that's already running. Yeah. We're just going to put the Piedmont or Emory name on it. I'm out. Give me 10 mil, I'm out.
Lit.
Said, if it doesn't work that way, then, and it's making me money, I'll pass it on to my kids. Either way, I'm going to do something right with it.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. Look, man, we got to do a quick commercial. Then I'm going to let everybody know how to find you and how they can be a part of your program. Also, can you give a promo code for people?
Yeah.
On the course?
Yeah.
Just make it social proof. I don't know what it's going to be or how much it's going to be.
Don't have one now, but I can make it.
Yeah. I mean, by the time this comes out, let's just give them a promo code. Social, just make it social proof before it drops, okay? Joe, let's make sure we send it over to make sure that works because I like to take care of my people, man. There's a bunch of entrepreneurs and this definitely seems like a business that, somebody could maybe run part-time even while they have their job and kind of go through the process and they kind of monitor. Because it's not, here's what I see. If I have 1 truck, or let's say 2 trucks, and I just have 1 patient, that's $10,000 a month.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How busy do you think my guy is that you and I both know?
Extremely.
So if he could do it, ask him, has he ever been on a truck? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, nice.
So that answers your question. Like if he could do it, like he's always traveling.
It's up. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
We already talked about it. I'm doing it 100%. And this is just. I'm just excited. My entrepreneurial thing. It's up. All right, so I got to do a quick commercial. You let everybody know how to find you in just a second. But this episode is sponsored by The Morning Meetup, themorningmeetup.com, themorningmeetup.com, the only organization that gathers every single day. I'm going to tell you about personal development and how I know you wish you had the morning meetup when you were starting your entrepreneurial journey or even in your entrepreneurial journey. So every month we have a theme of the month. Like this month where it might be about wealth, thinking wealth. One of our themes were 6 figures ain't enough, right? So we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Literally this morning we had almost 700 people on our call. But every day we discuss entrepreneurial topics in a community format where everybody gets to know each other. So the connections, the people that are connecting in this, in the morning meetup and getting together, having their own meetups and doing business together and really building genuine relationships, it's insane. Like nothing you've ever seen in your life. And we get together every morning.
Every morning?
Monday through Friday. Every morning.
I'm there.
Yeah, I need you to speak. I need you to speak.
Yeah, I'm there.
For
I
sure.
just want to be influenced and learn as much as I can.
Right. And you'll jump on and you'll speak and you'll have 100 people follow you when you get off.
Oh, dope.
It's amazing. So you will be on, man, because I think there's like some leadership skills that we all as an entrepreneur need to learn from you. So I definitely going to have you on, okay?
I appreciate that.
So listen, y'all, go to themorningmeetup.com. I am so confident that you've never, ever experienced an organization like this. We have some people have Zoom calls where it's like 600-700 people on there, but not every day.
Exactly.
Not you seeing the same people. And we got a book club. We're all reading the same book.
I want to get into that.
Hundreds of people reading the same book on the same chapter, by the way. So we'll read a chapter today, and then tomorrow morning we'll discuss the chapter that we just read.
Nice.
And then the next day we'll read another chapter. The next morning we discuss that chapter. But we're all on the same page. We give whatever gems and takeaways that we got from the chapter we read last night.
That's dope.
Phenomenal. themorningmeetup.com. Get there. All right. Hans, man, appreciate you, my brother.
No, thank you. Appreciate you.
Nah, this was a pure treat, and I learned a lot, man. It's like I'm about to send I got some text messages that I need to send out just based on the conversation we just had. But yeah, let everybody know how they can be a part of your mentorship, how they can get involved in the game, how to find you, and to close us out with a word to put a whole bow on this conversation.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at The Real Solopreneur. And my gourmet grilled cheese is which is A-N-D, cheese, A-T-L. So you guys can follow us on Instagram on that as well. If you go to Lenox Mall, we're on the 3rd floor by Bloomingdale's. I promise you guys you will love it. And also the mentorship is also through my Instagram. And I'm going to give you guys my actual business phone number, which is area code 678-592-2656. Really don't respond to phone calls, but if you shoot me a text, I'll get back to you ASAP as soon as possible. And if you want to hit me up on an email, it's H as in Henry, F as in Frank, .first responders. So that's 1ST responders @gmail.com. Shoot me an email or a text and let me know that you're interested, and my assistant will call you back and we'll get the ball rolling. So I don't know. I want to end this by saying what God got for you, no one can take. And it's time for you guys to take your future into your own hands. Don't let anybody dictate your income or the time that you're going to spend with your family. You could do that by starting your own business and just treat everybody like you would want like you would want to be treated, and you'll be good. Trust me, I'll take care of you.
That's a fact. Listen, do yourself a favor. There will be a link here somewhere that you can take advantage of Hans' course and just use promo code Social Proof. It'll take some money off, okay? I don't know how much it's going to take off, but just know we got your back, okay? So click the link below. Make sure you get the program, get the course, and not even just for the ambulance company, but to be able to follow a great leader. I'm super inspired. You have no idea right now.
I appreciate that.
So I can't wait to get into business with you on the ambulance company and just kind of show me how we can, build some side income by helping people, because it's near and dear to me because I just went through it. You know what I mean? So, all right. So make sure y'all follow Hans, okay? Send him a DM if you like anything about this podcast. Just give some appreciation. Send my man some flowers in the DM. Like, yo, I appreciate it. You said this to me and it really resonated with me. And then also get you some social proof, okay? Go build something. But I need you to go back to your community and teach your community how you built the thing that you build. It is the only way our community grows. All right? We are out of here. Peace.